UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres arrives in Dhaka on June 30 to visit Rohingyas in Cox's Bazar. Hatred pillar to be set up in Dhaka to condemn anti-liberation entities, Liberation War Affairs Minister tells Parliament. Significant number of parties and candidates to contest next election in case PNP shuns, comments Obaidul Qadir. Morbi Bazar flood situation seeing gradual improvement amid distribution of relief materials. Eid holidays returning to Dhaka in big numbers as capital takes normal look. $6.85 crore refugees around world, reveals UN report. And in Russia World Cup, Japan beat Colombia 2-1. Russia face Egypt tonight. Assalamu alaikum. You're watching News at 10 on BTV, BTV World and BTV Chattogram Center. I am Nuzhat Sharmeen welcoming you all.
And I'm Nafi Imtiaz. You've just heard the headlines. We have details of those and other stories coming up. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres is coming to Dhaka on the 30th of June on a 3-day visit to Bangladesh. World Bank President Jim Kim is expected to accompany him on the visit, and they will visit the Rohingya camps in Cox's Bazar together. During the visit, they're likely to hold meetings with the Prime Minister, the Foreign Minister and the Finance Minister of Bangladesh. Antonio Guterres has been vocal on the Rohingya issue from the beginning, and this will be his first visit to Bangladesh as UN Secretary General. Earlier he had visited Bangladesh as the head of the United Nations High Commission for Refugees, UNHCR. It will be the second visit to Bangladesh for World Bank President Jim Kim. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina paid a courtesy call on President Mohammed Abdul Hamid at Bongo Bhavan this evening. On arrival at Bongo Bhavan, the President received the Prime Minister with a bouquet. During the meeting, President Abdul Hamid and Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina exchanged Eid greetings. Later, President's Press Secretary Zainul Abidin told the media that during the meeting, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina apprised the President of the outcome of her recent visits to Saudi Arabia, the United Kingdom, Australia, India and Canada. President Abdul Hamid congratulated the Prime Minister for getting a Doctor of Literature D.Lit degree from Qazi Nazrul University at Asansol in India. Secretaries of both the President and the Prime Minister's offices were present. A hate column will be built in the capital to express hate for the anti-liberation forces. Liberation War Affairs Minister A.K.M. Muzammil Haq said this while replying to a question that was tabled in Parliament today. Earlier, the sitting of the House resumed this afternoon with Speaker Dr. Shirin Sharmin Chaudhry in the chair. Replying to a question, Agriculture Minister Begum Matia Chaudhry told the House that in the last year, a total of 3,86,91,000 metric tons of food grains had been produced in the country, and this due to agro-friendly policies of the government. She further said that the government had adopted different initiatives to set up agro-based industries and technology-based agriculture. In response to a question, Land Minister Shamsur Rahman Sharif informed Parliament that a total of 3,987 crore 55 lakh 2,534 crore taka had been collected as land development tax. Later, a general discussion was held on the proposed budget for 2018-19 fiscal year. Participating in the discussion, the members of Parliament told the House that Finance Minister Abul Mal Abdul Muhid had presented a realistic budget to the nation. They thanked the Finance Minister for giving proper allocation to the important sectors in the proposed budget. Members of the Parliament told the House that the growth rate targeted in the proposed budget would be achieved. They said there was no doubt that Bangladesh was going ahead on the path to prosperity. They also said that the ongoing anti-drug drive across the country will be successful, just like the anti-militancy drive had been successful. Meanwhile, State Minister for Power, Energy and Mineral Resources, Nasrul Hamid, placed the annual report 2016-17 fiscal of Bangladesh Energy Regulatory Commission in Parliament. Besides, Agriculture Minister Begum Matia Chaudhry placed the Bangladesh Agriculture Development Corporation Bill 2018 and the Barind Bohumukhi Development Authority Bill 2018 in Jatiyo Shongshod. Later, the bills were sent to the parliamentary standing committees concerned for further scrutiny. Deputy Speaker Fazler Rabi Mia also presided over the session. Sitting of the House will resume in the afternoon tomorrow.
The holidaymakers continued their journey to come back to Dhaka to join their respective workplaces. Launch and bus terminals and railway stations were crowded as the number of capital-bound people were more today. Despite the completion of government holidays, many people are enjoying Eid, taking extra leaves. As a result, it will take some more days for normalcy to return to Dhaka. Visiting Komlapur railway station, Shodorghat launch terminal and Gaptoli and Moakhali bus terminals, our correspondent witnessed inflow of people from different class and profession to the capital. Awami League General Secretary and Road Transport and Bridges Minister Obaidul Qadir has said number of parties and candidates will be enough in the upcoming general election, even if BNP refrains from the polls. The minister said no conspiracy will be fruitful, the countrymen will resist all the plots, he added. Obaidul Qadir said this emerging from a meeting with the party secretaries and leaders of the other parties of the Grand Alliance at the political office of Awami League President at Dhanmondi in the capital today. Awami League Central Committee secretaries and presidents of other associate parties were present. After the meeting, Obaidul Qadir said various issues including placing floral wreaths at the portrait of Father of the Nation Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman on 23rd June, marking the founding anniversary of Awami League, hoisting the national and party flags, inauguration of Awami League office at 23rd Bangabandhu Avenue were discussed in the meeting. Obaidul Qadir said it is BNP's bankruptcy to complain to the foreigner without keeping faith in the countrymen. Awami League will accord a mass reception to Prime Minister and Party President Sheikh Hasina on July 21st instead of July 7th at the historic Sorwardi Uddan at 3 p.m. The reception will be arranged for Bangladesh's attaining the eligibility to graduate to a developing nation, launching Bangabandhu Satellite 1, Sheikh Hasina's attaining Global Women's Leadership Award from US-based NGO Global Summit of Women, and her receiving D.Lit from Qazi Nazrul University of India. Meanwhile, the celebration to mark the launching of Bangabandhu Satellite 1, which was scheduled to be held on June 24, has been postponed due to worsening of flood situation and inclement weather of the country. Health and Family Welfare Minister Mohammad Nasim has urged BNP to stop playing the dirty game of movement but prepare for the next election. He told this to journalists after visiting the extension building of National Institute of Traumatology and Orthopedic Rehabilitation at capital's Shere Bangla Nagar today. NITOR Director Professor Dr. Muhammad Abdul Ghani Molla, State Minister for Health Zahid Malik, Housing and Public Works Minister Engineer Musharraf Hussain were present. The Health Minister said superior treatment can now be provided as the hospital has increased its capacity of beds from 500 to 1,000. The 14-party spokesperson also said that the next election will be held in time under Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Later, Mohammad Nasim visited the construction work of National Institute of Digestive Diseases Research Center and Hospital at Moakhali.
German Ambassador to Bangladesh, Dr. Thomas Prince, paid a courtesy call on Awami League General Secretary Obaidul Qadir at the Awami League President's political office in Dhanmondi, at the capital today. Awami League Joint General Secretary Dr. Deepu Moni, International Affairs Subcommittee Chairman Ambassador Muhammad Jomir, International Affairs Secretary Dr. Shami Ahmed, Organizing Secretary Barrister Muhibul Hassan Chaudhry Nofel were present during the visit. Obaidul Qadir and the German ambassador discussed various bilateral and contemporary issues between the two countries. The German ambassador praised highly the Bangladesh government for its achievements, saying that the current regime had been successful in all development sectors. The overall flood situation in Molavi Bazar is improving. The water level of Monu and Dali rivers have started to decrease. Molavi Bazar municipality primarily completed rebuilding work of Boraikona Dam at Borohat city of Molavi Bazar in cooperation with the Water Development Board. Earlier, the Secretary of the Water Resources Ministry, Kabir bin Anwar, visited the embankment of the Monu River and directed the authorities and personnel concerned to rebuild it immediately. High officials and a Deputy Commissioner of Molavi Bazar were present, among others. Social Welfare Minister Rashid Khan Menon visited the flood-affected areas. He distributed relief among the flood-affected people. During that time, Rashid Khan Menon said the government would rebuild the damaged houses of the flood victims. The minister said the government had no shortage of relief. Local lawmaker Saida Saira Mohsen was present. Meanwhile, Molavi Bazar District Administration Municipality, Water Development Board, police and voluntary organizations are working together to face the situation. Army personnel are also helping to take on the situation. And now weather. Dhaka Met Office says a light to moderate rain or thunder showers accompanied by temporary gusty wind and lightning is likely to occur at many places over Rangpur, Dhaka, Moimunching, Sylhet, Borishal and Chattogram divisions, and at a few places over Rajshahi and Khulna divisions, with moderately heavy to heavy falls at places in other parts of the country. That's for the next 24 hours. Day temperature may remain nearly unchanged. Night temperature may fall by 1 to 2 degrees Celsius all over the country. The country's highest temperature, 36.3 degrees Celsius, was recorded on Tuesday in Shattra, and the lowest, 21.3 degrees, Maivansi.
Now, international news. The United Nations said nearly 69 million people who have fled war, violence and persecution were forcibly displaced last year. UN Refugee Agency UNHCR, in its annual report released on Tuesday, said continued crisis in places like South Sudan and the Democratic Republic of Congo, as well as the exodus of Rohingya from Myanmar that started last year, raised the overall figure of forced displacement in 2017 to 68.5 million. Of the 68.5 million total, 16.2 million were displaced last year, an average of more than 44,000 people a day, it said. North Korea's Kim Jong-un is making a 2-day visit to China a week after meeting US President Donald Trump. It is expected he will discuss sanctions and the commitment he made at the summit in general terms to denuclearize the Korean peninsula. Beijing, North Korea's only economic ally, has already suggested sanctions against North Korea could be eased. Meanwhile, the US and South Korea have confirmed they have suspended planning for their next joint military drills.
The first time Chinese state media have reported on his trip ahead of time. The last 2 times.
US President Donald Trump has threatened to impose tariffs on an additional $200 billion worth of Chinese goods, in a growing trade row. Mr. Trump said the 10% tariffs would come into effect if China refuses to change its practices. China responded by accusing the U.S. of blackmail, raising fears of a full-blown trade war. Meanwhile, President Donald Trump has said he will not allow the U.S. to become a migrant camp, as he stood by his administration's immigration crackdown. The United Nations will not be a migrant camp, he said at the White House, and it will not be a refugee holding facility. It won't be. The UN Human Rights Chief has condemned the policy as unconscionable.